Dark Psychology Techniques. Understanding and Coping with Silent Treatment. Copyright 2024 NLP Radio. Written by Vahid Zakavati. Introduction. In the complex world of human relationships, there are various techniques for influencing others, some of which are profoundly unpredictable and destructive. One of these techniques, which is rarely addressed in public conversations, is the silent treatment. You might be surprised to learn that this technique can easily bring about a fundamental transformation in the quality of your relationships without even uttering a word. Imagine suddenly and inexplicably being cut off from someone close to you without any explanation or sign. This behavior not only quickly erodes trust and emotional bonds, but also generates deep feelings of anxiety, guilt, and even negative self-perception. But why is this technique so effective and yet so dangerous? This book is written with the aim of illuminating and analyzing this phenomenon. We will delve into the depths of the silent treatment, exploring how this seemingly simple behavior can act as a powerful tool in the hands of those who misuse it. This technique, which is a part of the broader world of dark psychology, specifically examines how the cessation of communication is used as a tool to punish and manipulate others, and it will explore its effects on mental health and relationships. The dark psychology technique of silent treatment is executed by someone deliberately deciding to cut off or significantly reduce their interactions with another person, effectively ignoring them. This action is usually taken with the intent to control, punish, or manipulate the other person. Instead of discussing or expressing their feelings, the person employing this silent treatment chooses silence and refrains from any form of interaction or response. Stages of implementing this silent treatment. 1. Cutting or reducing communication. The person refrains from any verbal or nonverbal communication with the other person. This may include not responding to calls, messages, emails, or even in-person interactions. 2. Displaying displeasure without explanation. The person clearly shows their displeasure or discontent but offers no explanation to the other person. This behavior leads to confusion and anxiety in the affected individual. 3. Ignoring the needs of the other person. The person using this technique deliberately ignores the needs, feelings, and requests of the other person. This behavior creates feelings of worthlessness and insecurity in the affected individual. 4. Continuing silence until a goal is achieved. The silent treatment may continue until the other person reacts in some way, such as apologizing, changing their behavior, or giving in to the demands of the person employing the technique. The primary goal at this stage is to exert psychological pressure and control over the other person's behavior. 5. Gradual return to communication. After the other person has reacted or the demands of the person using the silent treatment have been met, they may gradually return to communication. However, this return is usually accompanied by specific conditions and limitations set by the person. This technique is highly impactful and can lead to the destruction of trust, the creation of tension and anxiety, and the deterioration of the other person's mental health. This behavior is usually carried out covertly and indirectly, making it difficult for the affected person to recognize or confront it. In this book, you'll seek answers to key questions. Why do some people resort to this method? How can you identify this technique? And most importantly, how can you resist it and build a healthier emotional life? As you go through the chapters of this book, from the history and concept of the silent treatment to an in-depth analysis of the psychological mechanisms and strategies to cope with it, you'll be guided through a comprehensive exploration. Are you ready to step into the hidden world of dark psychology and uncover the silent power in human relationships? This book will provide you with new insights and tools to help you become more resilient against these destructive techniques and build healthier relationships. It's time to embark on this conscious journey and uncover the hidden secrets of this technique. Chapter 1. The history and concept of silent treatment. Silent treatment, as a psychological technique has deep roots in history and various cultures. This behavior, which seems to be institutionalized in some societies and historical periods, particularly manifests in situations where an individual or group uses communication and social tools to exert pressure or control. Throughout history, we have witnessed examples of silent treatment being used as a tool of power and dominance. In some ancient civilizations like Rome and China, cutting off communication was used as a means to show displeasure or reinforce social power. This behavior was especially evident among the upper social classes and in royal and diplomatic relationships, where the cessation of communication could be interpreted as an absolute threat or disrespect. Various cultures have also employed this technique. In some indigenous communities, silent treatment was used as a method of punishment and instruction for younger or less obedient members. In others, this technique was utilized as a way to maintain respect and order in familial or social relationships. Literature and history are filled with examples of silent treatment being used as a tool to influence others. For instance, in classic literature, numerous characters employ silent treatment to create drama and emotional tension. One of the most famous examples in English literature is the stories of Shakespeare, where the cessation of communication and silent treatment are depicted as tools of power and punishment in the relationships between characters. In modern history, there are also numerous instances of this technique being used in political and social relationships. For example, during the Cold War, diplomatic cutoffs between major nations were used as tools for pressure and threats to achieve political and economic goals. These types of behaviors demonstrate the power and influence of silent treatment in various contexts. Chapter 2: The psychological mechanisms behind silent treatment. The silent treatment, as a psychological technique, has profound and complex effects on the brain and human psyche. When an individual encounters this technique, their brain quickly seeks to understand the reason for the cessation of communication and analyze its consequences. This process can lead to the development of anxiety, confusion, and even depression. From a scientific perspective, silent treatment can activate the brain's stress and anxiety systems. The limbic system, which is responsible for regulating emotions and responding to threats, is heavily impacted by this technique. Areas such as the amygdala may become actively engaged in response to silent treatment, leading to an increase in the release of stress hormones like cortisol. On the other hand, in the absence of communication and social interaction, the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for social analysis and decision-making, may become disrupted. This disruption can reduce an individual's ability to understand and manage their emotions and make sound decisions. People may use the silent treatment for various reasons. One of the primary reasons for using this technique is the need to control and dominate others. Deliberately cutting off communication can temporarily empower an individual to manipulate the behaviors and reactions of others. In some cases, silent treatment is used as a tool for punishing or retaliating against someone for a particular behavior or action. This technique sends a message to the individual that their behavior is unacceptable and needs to change. Sometimes, people use silent treatment as a way to escape responsibilities or obligations. This technique allows them to avoid confronting problems or issues directly. In power-based relationships, silent treatment can be used as a tool to maintain power and control over others. This technique enables the individual to preserve their sense of superiority or dominance. The silent treatment falls under the category of dark psychology techniques. This technique can be compared to other dark psychology behaviors like gaslighting and emotional manipulation. Gaslighting involves manipulating reality in such a way that the individual gradually begins to doubt the accuracy of their perceptions. Unlike silent treatment, which directly involves cutting off communication, gaslighting gradually alters reality, leaving the individual in a state of uncertainty. However, both techniques can lead to a decrease in self-confidence and the creation of feelings of anxiety and worthlessness. Emotional manipulation involves using emotions to control and influence others. Emotional manipulation may involve inducing feelings of guilt, fear, or dependency. The silent treatment specifically relies on cutting off communication as a tool for control and punishment, while emotional manipulation may manifest in various forms, including verbal and emotional behaviors. Emotional detachment is similar to the silent treatment, but it specifically refers to the gradual removal of emotional aspects from a relationship. While the silent treatment directly addresses the cessation of communication, emotional detachment may occur gradually, leading to the creation of emotional distance in relationships. Chapter 3: The impact of intentional ignoring on victims. In the short term, victims of intentional ignoring may experience emotional reactions such as anxiety, confusion, and despair. The sudden and unexplained cutting off of communication can create a sense of uncertainty and worthlessness in the individual. They may constantly strive to understand the reason for the communication breakdown and search for logical explanations for the other person's behavior. This endless search for the reason behind the behavior can lead to high levels of stress and worry. In the long term, the effects of intentional ignoring can manifest in more complex ways. One of the major consequences of this technique is a decrease in self-esteem. Victims may gradually come to believe that they are emotionally or humanly less valuable, and this feeling may deepen and persist over time. Additionally, their mental health may be affected, with problems such as chronic anxiety, depression, and sleep disorders emerging. The effects of intentional ignoring can also impact an individual's personal and social relationships. In close relationships, such as family or romantic connections, persistent communication breakdowns can lead to conflicts, feelings of distrust, and emotional distance. This behavior can result in deeper emotional wounds that may require significant effort to heal. In social relationships, individuals may gradually withdraw from social interactions and connections due to negative experiences stemming from intentional ignoring, which can lead to isolation and difficulties in forming and maintaining healthy relationships. Overall, intentional ignoring can have significant impacts on an individual's mental health and relationships, and these effects can manifest in various ways over time, requiring careful attention and management. Chapter 4: Recognizing and identifying intentional ignoring. Recognizing and identifying intentional ignoring, silent treatment, can be challenging, especially when this behavior is expressed indirectly and within various human relationships. This chapter explores the signs and symptoms of this behavior, methods for identifying it in different types of relationships, and provides real-life examples and case studies. Signs and symptoms of this behavior. Intentional ignoring is typically associated with specific signs that can help in identifying it. Some of these signs include: 1. Sudden communication cutoff. One of the primary signs is the sudden and unexplained cutoff of communication. The person deliberately avoids interacting with you and may even refuse to respond to messages or calls. 2. Lack of response to communication attempts. When you try to establish communication with the person, and they consistently refuse to respond, this could be a sign of intentional ignoring. 3. Feelings of worthlessness and disrespect. The person may convey to you that you are unimportant or undervalued, and this feeling of worthlessness may be communicated overtly or subtly. 4. Persistence of behavior without explanation. In this behavior, the refusal to communicate and the cutting off of relationships persist without any logical explanation. This can cause the affected individual to feel deeply confused and anxious. How to identify it in different relationships: personal, work, family. Identifying intentional ignoring in various relationships requires attention to the context and nature of interactions. Here's how to recognize this behavior in 3 different types of relationships. 1. Personal relationships. In friendships or romantic relationships, intentional ignoring may be observed through a decrease or complete cutoff in emotional and social interactions. The person may consistently avoid contact and emotional engagement, often due to dissatisfaction or a desire to exert control in the relationship. 2. Work relationships. In the workplace, intentional ignoring may manifest as a lack of response to emails or work requests, or a refusal to engage in group meetings. This behavior can be used as a tool to express dissatisfaction or protest against management or colleagues. 3. Family relationships. In the family, intentional ignoring may show up as an emotional disconnect from family members or a refusal to participate in family activities. This behavior may be used as a means to create tension or express dissatisfaction with the family situation. To better understand intentional ignoring and its effects, examining real-life examples and case studies can be helpful. Here are some instances. 1. Personal example. An individual in a romantic relationship may experience intentional ignoring when their partner consistently avoids communication and emotional engagement without offering clear reasons for their behavior. 2. Workplace case study. In a work environment, an employee who deliberately refuses to respond to emails or participate in group meetings may be an example of intentional ignoring, possibly due to dissatisfaction with management or personal conflicts. 3. Family case study. In a family, a person who consistently avoids participating in family activities and interacting with family members may be an example of intentional ignoring, potentially due to family tensions or dissatisfaction with the family dynamic. By using these examples and case studies, a better understanding of how intentional ignoring manifests and its impact on various relationships can be gained. Chapter 5. Strategies for coping with intentional ignoring. Coping with intentional ignoring can be challenging, but effective strategies can help manage and reduce its negative effects. One of the primary methods for dealing with this technique is to establish clear and direct communication with the person displaying this behavior. Try to express your feelings and concerns in a calm and non-confrontational environment, and ask the individual to explain their reasons for their behavior. Maintaining calm and restraint in the face of intentional ignoring is also crucial. Intense emotional reactions may only exacerbate tensions and problems, so it's important to respond to the situation calmly and avoid impulsive and emotional responses. If the person continues to use intentional ignoring, despite your efforts to communicate effectively, it might be necessary to limit your interactions with them. This can help protect your mental health from the negative impacts of this behavior and provide space to reassess the relationship. Seeking support from friends, family, or psychological counselors can also help you gain a better understanding of the situation and find more effective ways to cope. Practicing self-awareness can be very beneficial for boosting self-confidence and increasing mental resilience. Try to be honest with yourself and acknowledge your strengths and weaknesses. Self-awareness can help you maintain your self-esteem when faced with negative behaviors and respond to problems more effectively. Developing coping skills, such as stress management techniques and relaxation exercises, can also enhance your mental resilience. These techniques can assist you in managing your emotions and reactions to intentional ignoring and improve your overall quality of life. Setting personal goals and focusing on your priorities can also boost your self-confidence. When you concentrate on your goals and observe your progress, you will develop positive feelings about yourself, which can contribute to increasing your mental resilience. Ethical and social aspects of using intentional ignoring. Analyzing intentional ignoring from an ethical and social perspective requires careful examination of its effects on individuals and communities. This technique, which involves cutting off communication as a means of punishment or control, has specific ethical and social dimensions that need to be considered. From an ethical standpoint, intentional ignoring can be viewed as an unfair and inhumane behavior. This technique is deliberately employed with the intent to harm others and can significantly impact individuals' mental health and self-esteem. Since this behavior involves cutting off communication without providing reasons or logical explanations, it can lead to feelings of worthlessness, confusion, and anxiety. Therefore, intentional ignoring is considered an unethical act that not only harms the individual but also damages trust and credibility in human relationships. The social and cultural impact of intentional ignoring can be extensive. In various societies, this technique can be used as a tool to maintain power and dominance in social or familial relationships. In some cultures, this behavior may be employed as a traditional method to express dissatisfaction or exert pressure. This can lead to the development of negative patterns in social and familial relationships and reinforce unjust or discriminatory cultures. The role of media and popular culture in promoting intentional ignoring is also significant. Media, including films, series, and television programs, may portray intentional ignoring as part of drama or emotional tension. These depictions in media can contribute to normalizing this behavior and embedding it in popular culture and public perception. For example, in some media stories, intentional ignoring is used as a tool to create tension or drama, which can lead to the acceptance of this behavior in real life. Given these ethical and social dimensions, it is essential to continuously examine and analyze the effects of intentional ignoring, and to take necessary actions to reduce and manage this behavior in society and human relationships. Conclusion. The importance of addressing intentional ignoring, silent treatment, becomes clear. This technique, which involves cutting off communication as a means of punishment or control, has deep and far-reaching effects on mental health and personal relationships. Intentional ignoring can lead to feelings of worthlessness, confusion, and anxiety in victims, negatively impacting self-esteem and the quality of personal and social relationships. Therefore, effective strategies for dealing with this behavior and a deeper understanding of it are essential for maintaining mental health and improving the quality of human relationships. Identifying and addressing intentional ignoring requires continuous effort and the use of appropriate strategies. Establishing clear communication, maintaining calm, and setting healthy boundaries in relationships can help mitigate the negative effects of this technique. Additionally, boosting self-confidence and enhancing mental resilience are factors that can assist individuals in coping with intentional ignoring. For further research, it is suggested that more in-depth studies be conducted on various aspects related to intentional ignoring. Research on the long-term effects of this technique on mental health and relationships, examining the role of media and popular culture in promoting this behavior, and analyzing its ethical and social dimensions can contribute to a better understanding and improvement of methods for addressing this technique. Additionally, studying new therapeutic and counseling methods to help victims of intentional ignoring and providing effective strategies for preventing and managing this behavior can promote mental health and improve human relationships. Considering the broad and complex effects of intentional ignoring, understanding and managing this technique is of particular importance. Efforts to address this behavior and raise awareness in this area can contribute to creating healthier relationships and enhancing individuals' quality of life. Thank you for reading this book to the end. Vahid Zekavati.